Hey gang, it's Patrick.
And Adam.
Coming up on today's episode, Adam gets the pink slip as we record his last official episode as co-host. As always, we discuss the latest Disney news, and we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
Rude.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Adam, last dance? Hummel.
It sounds a little dark, doesn't it? Like maybe I have some kind of addiction or a problem I'm dealing with.
No, I'm just referring to you as Julia Stiles, I think, more than anything. Say, Adam saved the last dance, Hummel.
I'll take it. A Julia Stiles comparison?
Is it too early in the day for a Julia Stiles reference?
It's never too early in the day. I feel like, this is completely unrelated to Disney, obviously, but Julia Stiles seemed so wooden in her youth. Like, she was really stiff for me. To be in a dance movie, she was quite stiff.
Yeah.
But now that she's kind of grown into her talent, I feel like she's just so engaging on screen.
Fair. That's fair enough. Who was her co-star in that? Was it Omar Epps?
Yes, I think it was Omar Epps.
I was stiff for Omar Epps.
Oh, he's very attractive. Is he still attractive? It doesn't matter. He's still attractive, right?
100%.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. I don't follow him on Instagram or anything, but I'm sure he's very good looking still.
There's still time. You can do it.
I don't know. It's my last dance. It could all be over very, very soon. Well, Patrick.
Yes.
Here we are together.
I can't go on unless you middle name me, Adam.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Patrick Torchbearer Kazuki.
Oh, I think you're calling me a flamer. I'm not sure.
I'm calling you a flamer. I'm calling you the keeper of the light. I'm calling you he who shall move forward in GDTD.
I feel like a Newsies soundtrack is going to come on somewhere in the background.
Yeah, it's going to be very moving. Very moving.
And seize the day.
Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot to middle name you. I apologize.
It's fine. We are in a new old situation.
That's right. So we are recording together in person for this, my last episode as an official GDTD co-host.
It's true. I have to be real honest. I'm already getting a little emotional about it.
Oh, no.
Not because I'm sad. I'm happy that you're leaving, but just the nostalgia, though, of us doing this again in the basement. We have not done this in 3 years, 2 years.
Well, our last in-person recording session was with our friends Paul and Bart after their trip, and it was like March 2020. We probably went a little bit longer than we should have, now knowing everything that we know, but we closed down kind of like in mid-March 2020.
We do. I remember that episode. Very fun. We weren't even sure if we could hug or shake hands or high five. We were wiping down mics and everything. What a weird time.
We were sitting in separate corners of the room. We were all very distanced. Yeah. So that was safe. But I mean, as far as we knew anyway. But yeah, that was a long time ago.
And here you are back again in the studio. You made the trek.
I did.
7-hour, 8-hour trek. I don't know how long it takes.
I am jet lagged. I am so tired.
Me too. I'm emotionally exhausted most of all.
Mm-hmm. No, I got up bright and early this morning, and this is something we've been talking about for months now. When we started talking about my departure, we formulated a plan, and part of the plan was that I would come to Minneapolis and we would record our very last episode together. Well, I don't want to say last because who knows what will happen in the future, but for the goodbye for now episode in person.
It's true. And episode 200, we should say.
Episode 200 is also a thing that's happening.
It is indeed. Wow. We're not going to edit this at all, I feel like. Let's just leave every single thing in.
No, it's all just stream of consciousness. If we don't even get to anything Disney related, who cares, right?
Fair enough. And speaking of not editing, we should address, again, we're back in my basement in the studio, and we're going to hear a lot of dog noises today, Adam. I just have to say, there's probably no way around it.
Totally fine with that. Everybody, there's dogs upstairs. We're back on the board. Like, so we're like using our real mics and like our real board and everything. So the sound quality may be better. I don't know.
Who can say? Who can say? Full disclosure, we do not fully remember how we did this in the past.
Yeah, so it could sound completely different. It could sound terrible, but regardless, you may hear some dog toenails tapping above us.
Yeah. If need be, I will just set up a Zoom call and you can go in the living room and we'll just look at each other from across the house.
That feels better to me. It feels normal.
You're a little closer than I want you to be right now.
I don't know, Patrick. Did you test this morning? Are we cool?
I feel like I need to paint a square around you so I recognize you.
I know. What do I look like without a Zoom filter? It's bad, isn't it? It's bad.
It's much better, I'll tell you what. It's much, much better. All right, what do you say? We have a lot to get through today.
We do.
Should we jump in?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. I don't know how to do this again in person, so let's just jump in. How do you want to start out, Adam?
I'll start out, okay, by talking about or going back to our last episode where we talked about or gave our spoiler-free review of Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes.
And we had some feedback on that, not necessarily on the movie, but this was really interesting, so I included it in the show notes. We heard from a Tweedle named Katie, who you can find on Twitter at DubuCat, and they say, "Hi there, I have yet to see the new Thor, but cannot wait for it to be streaming. Looking forward to Natalie Portman as Mighty Thor. Side note, there was a comment that sounded like you were surprised a vegan could gain muscle. I recommend watching the movie The Game Changers, which I watched on Netflix. It may surprise you that a vegan may actually have an easier time getting buff than a non-vegan. Love the show. You always make me laugh. 4 kissy heart eye emojis."
Interesting. I wonder if it's because like the intentionality behind eating more protein as a vegan, that might have something to do with it.
Or is it the fact that, and again, we could just watch The Game Changers as opposed to speculating wildly, but could it also be that level of health or like is there already, or like that kind of like base level that is needed, and then they just bulk up from there by only adding more healthy options onto their diet? I'm a doctor.
Yes.
So I know these things.
Absolutely. I feel like this might be a good segue into your new podcast.
Yes. Folks, I have an announcement to make. I have a brand new podcast. I am an untrained medical professional, but that hasn't stopped thousands of other podcasts from being created out there. So get ready for Feeling the Burn with Dr. Adam Hummel.
Special guest host, Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz is also joining. He's taking time away from his campaign to join me.
Thank goodness. Anything we can do to get him off the road.
It really is just a political distraction on my part. Yep. Keeping him out of that arena.
I love it. Well, thank you, Kate. Is it Katie or Caddy or?
I think it's Katie.
Thank you, Katie. Speaking of feedback, Adam, we have a lovely note from one of our tweetles. This has nothing to do with last week's episode, but it does have to do with the show in general. I thought that we should read it because it's a lovely note from Andrew, who's on Instagram at aevans16. Andrew says, "Hi, Adam and Patrick. I originally found you both at the start of the pandemic, and I have casually been listening to both of you over the last 2.5 years, but I had to start at the beginning." Ooh, that's a mistake. And I've always been playing catch up. I remember being around episode 30 and deciding that I had to become a Patreon, even if I wasn't caught up and couldn't participate weekly. So it took me a long time until I heard you announce me in episode 94. Can confirm he has been one of our Patreon members for about 2 years now.
Oh my gosh.
I know, amazing. He goes on to say, last April, when I was still around episode 160, I went through a breakup with my boyfriend of about 4 years, and listening to GDTD helped me get through it and give me a needed laugh. Now, over the last 3 months, I have officially caught up to the week prior to episode 200. Hey, that's right now. And I wanted to finally give a little feedback. Buckle up, everybody. Number one.
2 years of feedback coming at you.
Number one, while I've heard some people not get much out of Genie Plus, I have been to Walt Disney World 4 times since it came out, and I have found it to be super helpful at Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, but not the other two parks. Number two, I couldn't recommend D23 more. After the Cosmic Rewind preview event, I was able to go in May, and we were able to ride the ride from 4 to 9 as many times as we wanted. Ooh, that sounds horrible. Now I also tend to get motion sickness on rides. I still rode it 7 times that day, and only after the first time I rode it with my hands in the air did I feel a little woozy. Interesting.
Hands in the air, you do care.
Like he doesn't care, but he does care. But he does care. Number 3, because of you two, I have now been to Tiffin's, Nomad Lounge, Abracadabar, Skipper Canteen, Sanaa, and the Brown Derby, and I had excellent experiences at all. Seems like a brag to me. Number 4, and lastly, I couldn't recommend Chris from Wishful Thinking more. He helped me twice last year with trips, and he even spoke with my mother, who had a ton of questions and wanted to talk to an expert. Still, till this day, she talks about how helpful he was. Anyways, I could say more, but I don't want to ramble more. All I want to say is thank you to both of you for giving myself and all the other listeners laughter and Disney joy weekly. Adam, you will be missed, and I hope we hear from you from time to time, but I'm also excited to have Patrick continue on with a group of excellent co-hosts.
Oh, Andrew, that is so nice to hear, and it actually makes me feel bad for breaking up you and your boyfriend.
We do take responsibility. Maybe it was a good thing, though.
Maybe it was a great thing. It sounds like it was a great thing. Andrew, thank you so much for that incredible message. And I'm so glad to hear that we've provided any kind of service to you at all.
Mostly just breaking you up with your boyfriend.
And thank you for being a patron. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, for 2 years. That might be our longest Patreon member.
Amazing. And if you want to become a Patreon family member, folks... Did you like that smooth segue? You can head to our website, gazetothed.com, and click on donate, and that will take you to our Patreon page where for as little as $1 a month, you can join the Patreon family and get exclusive access to so many things, but mainly to ridiculous little mini episodes that we record called Gaze to the D Raw and Uncut.
Raw and Uncut.
It's been a while since we did that.
You don't ever have to do that spiel again, Adam.
We'll see. We'll see.
Fair.
When I'm in the gutter, crawl my way back onto this podcast. I'll find a way.
That's fair. That's fair. We're going to shut it down before you can come back.
That will be the thing that shuts it down. The threat of me returning.
100% that. 100% that. Speaking of episodes of Raw and Uncut, there will be an exclusive one following this episode of us just doing what we're doing right now, talking and being dum-dums here in my basement.
Yeah, an in-person Raw and Uncut. Sounds scandalous.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel weird about it, but I feel okay. I feel okay.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, so Andrew, thank you again. And then anyone else who's not a patron, consider it.
Consider it, won't you? Consider it, won't you? Speaking of considering things, Adam, I'm considering going to the movie theater on November 11th, 2022 to see Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever. Interesting that they didn't choose the number 4 and then EVAH after that. They went more kind of stoic and serious.
Yeah, I wish they had gone with more of a 90s theme.
Wouldn't that have been cool?
100% cool. But I forgive them because... Boy, oh boy, that trailer was amazing.
Visually stunning.
The soundtrack to it already.
Oh my.
Into it.
Yes.
What a woman-heavy, woman-forward film apparently we're going to get, according to that trailer anyways.
Seems like it, yeah, because, I mean, everybody knows at this point that Black Panther Chad Boseman passed away years ago. Years ago? Was it like a year ago?
Boy, now I can't even remember.
You know, it probably has to be a couple years ago because the movie had to then... Because they weren't even filming the movie by the time they had... What am I trying to say?
Who can say?
They weren't filming the movie when he passed away. It was in like pre-production or something like that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I believe, they had to pivot the script, I think, to change it to the story that it is now.
Yeah, so it's been a couple of years since he passed away. Regardless, he obviously is not in the picture. So, yes, obviously all of these really strong female characters that we got introduced to in the first film and have seen in subsequent films are now coming to the forefront and will be featured in the movie.
Oh, can I just say, Angela Bassett. Hoo-wee.
You can say Angela Bassett. You just did, and we should say it again. Angela Bassett.
What a queen, literally in the movie and in real life. That performance already in the trailer gave me shivers.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they shape the film around her character, because it does seem like she experiences incredible loss, obviously, not only her son, but she does comment in the trailer that she's lost her family. So something bigger happens, whether that means more people die or they go away, or we don't know how that plays out. But she's going to have a really kind of very serious, dramatic role to deliver. And I mean, can we just say it? Award buzz? I'm saying it here right now. Award buzz for Angela Bassett.
I'm interested. I'm into it. We need to give her an Academy Award for sure. Does she already have one for What's Love Got to Do with It?
She does.
Okay. Well, then you don't need another one, do you?
Does she? Did she get one for What's Love Got to Do with It?
I don't think she won. Maybe she got a Golden Globe for it.
Okay. Well, she needs more awards.
She does. She does. We could look it up, but we are busy figuring out how to do a podcast again.
Yeah, so Angela Bassett, amazing in the trailer. And then also, we need to talk about this, Patrick.
Yeah.
Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri in Black Panther. There was some controversy, right, previously with her?
There was. We looked it up a little bit. We didn't do too much digging, but it has been out there. I do remember this pretty distinctly because it was kind of a scandal at the time. She reposted something, I think it was on Twitter or maybe on all of her social media, about somebody else who was posting anti-vaccine posts. Now, this person, I think it was a minister of some kind, has also been known to post transphobic things as well. She has since deleted those social media accounts, and I believe she issued an apology, or at least issued saying that she was not of those beliefs, but regardless, she claimed that she was making a mistake and owned up to it at least a little bit. So what we don't know is, does she have a big part in this movie? Does she have a small part? Is Marvel and Disney sort of forgetting that ever happened, or are they going to address it at all?
She's got a prominent close-up early on in the trailer. I mean, and it seems like she's going to be a large part of this movie.
She was crying in it, though, and is that actual footage of her crying as she was released from set?
They couldn't get what they wanted out of her that day, and they were like, here's your termination papers, and then the tears came.
Who knows? Tweedles, if someone out there knows the actual tea behind this, let us know so we can get this correct. But there was some controversy. So that's an interesting thing it's an interesting dance, right, that Disney has to do around when those things happen.
I'm not going to say I feel sorry, but the actors these days, when they're in these giant kind of like tentpole feature films, there must be an extreme amount of pressure on them to like uphold some kind of like ethical, moral standard, or just completely wipe their social media accounts. Like, how do you maintain that status and like separate your real life from, like, I don't know. There's just so much pressure on them, I would imagine.
Fair enough. Although, I mean, shouldn't we all be holding ourselves accountable to ethical and moral standards?
No.
Okay, great.
I'm not going to do it. In fact, watch me burn.
Yeah.
This is my last episode. I can say whatever I want to. Cancel me. I dare you.
Oh, fair enough. Just please don't go back in my posting history of Facebook or Instagram. I'm sure it's problematic.
I know it's problematic. I was there.
Talking about the nudes.
Okay, so as you said, Wakanda Forever, November 11th, 2022 in theaters. That's coming up so quick.
It really is. Summer's already almost over, everybody.
It's disgusting.
It's troublesome. Although I'm glad for the heat to be going away.
It has been intense, hasn't it?
It has.
And we're really bringing the heat in this episode, aren't we?
Talking about the weather.
All right, moving on. It's time for all of us to learn some things. Let's talk about this week in Disney history.
Yeah, speaking of bringing the heat and the thunder.
Ooh, knowledge.
Let's talk about facts.
Yeah, sexy.
Some sexy history. Here we go. Let's start with a birthday. 108 years ago, costumer and historical dress and costuming expert Chuck Keene was born in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, Keene was first hired by Walt Disney himself in 1947 in the wardrobe department. In 1955, he was named chief of the wardrobe department. With over 70 Disney credits to his name, he notably worked on The Shaggy Dog, Pollyanna, The Love Bug, The Black Hole, and Mary Poppins. Keene also created costumes for the Mickey Mouse Club and Zorro. In fact, it was Keene who constructed the mouse ear caps for the Mickey Mouse show Mouseketeers.
What acclaimed. I mean, obviously his work, amazing. All the credits you listed.
Yes.
But those ears, iconic.
Iconic. He was also responsible for dressing Walt Disney himself for all of the introductions in the Disneyland TV series.
Wow.
What an accomplishment.
I wonder if he's related to Glenn Keane, the animator. I think Glenn Keane was like the lead animator on Beast and Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, sure, maybe. I don't know. I didn't see any notes about that when I was looking him up. So could be. Who knows?
Probably not. It's probably just like, what's that called?
A coincidence.
A coincidence. That's exactly what it's called. Yeah. And I don't want to make any assumptions, but I'm going to assume something. I mean, a man at that time working in wardrobe, probably gay, right?
Wow, homophobia just coming out of the woodwork here.
Not homophobia. No, I love him. Snappy dresser.
He was a bachelor, Adam. He was
a confirmed bachelor.
He was a confirmed bachelor.
Don't quote us on that. And please, Keene family, do not sue us.
Oh, gosh. They're for sure listening.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. All right. Well, moving on to our second piece of Disney history. 24 years ago, not so long ago, on August 2nd, 1998, passengers of the Disney Magic's maiden voyage became the very first guests to set foot on Disney's private island, Castaway Cay. The island stretches 3.1 miles long and 2.2 miles wide and now serves as a fan favorite on Disney cruise ships. Fun fact, the island was once used as a filming location for the 1984 Touchstone feature Splash.
Splash. I love Splash.
What's Daryl Hannah doing these days?
What is she up to?
I don't know. We need more of her in our lives. Last time I saw her was in Kill Bill, I feel like.
That's exactly what I thought about, too. Kill Bill and that wooden thumb or finger, whatever she had.
I don't remember that part. She had the eye patch, though, didn't she?
Yeah, I think she had a wooden finger, too.
This is what happens when we're in the room together. We talk about anything other than what we need to be talking about.
That's right. Castaway Cay. Neither of us have experienced it.
No, I need to. We need to do this. Now that you're leaving the show, let's go on a cruise.
Perfect idea. I love this idea. Yeah. In fact, I think I just saw an Instagram post the other day. Benjamin Rahola was down there. I think they're on board a ship right now doing a show or something.
Ooh, very fun.
Yeah. But I mean, I would love to experience that. A Disney cruise, Patrick. We need to do it.
We need to do it. If you're listening, John, you know who you are. Hook us up.
I think we can say John Whalen. He was a previous guest.
Okay, great. John Whalen.
Yeah.
Of the Salem Whalen podcast.
Yeah.
Hook us up.
Yeah, let's finally use this podcast to try to get us some free stuff. It's never really happened, ever.
That's fair. Send us more stuff, Tweedles out there. Remember when you used to send us stuff?
I would love for this being my last episode. I sign off and then suddenly Patrick starts accumulating like all of this amazing merchandise and Disney product.
Well, by stuff, I mean cash. Send us some cash.
That's probably the best. We'll choose what we want to buy.
And that is a spot on a cruise ship.
Yes. A balcony room would be amazing.
Oh, absolutely. I can't be confined to the lower decks.
No. A virtual porthole? Get out of here.
I've seen Titanic. I know what happens down there.
You know exactly what happens down there. And Rose does not move off that door. She's not moving for you.
I will be posing a lot, though, for several customers.
Yeah, he's been posing for me since I arrived this morning, and it has been upsetting.
Paint me like your French ladies.
So anyway, we just did This Week in Disney History, right?
I think. I don't remember anymore.
Amazing, as always, Patrick. Moving on, we have a couple of Action items? No. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm really having a hard time with it today. It's probably because I woke up at 3 a.m. to get over here.
Fair enough. Action items is fine. Action items fine. One for immediately right after this episode and one for next week's episode.
Some administrative notes would probably be something I should have said. But first up, outtakes. We have outtakes after this episode. Typically, we reserve these for our anniversary of the podcast. But since I won't be here, everything must go, right? It's a clearance sale. So we're going to give you outtakes. So if you hang on to the very end of the episode, after the music fades, you will hear what absolute fools we are.
I mean, you're already hearing that right now, but it gets worse, folks. It does get worse.
Yeah, imagine what you're not hearing if you're listening to this.
You don't have to imagine anymore if you stay tuned after the episode.
You know what I want to say, though, Patrick, is we've gotten better because I feel like Outtakes season 1 was like 7 minutes, and we're down to like a nice 4 and some change now.
Yeah, we keep those mistakes tight, don't we?
We really do. We like economy.
We do.
Yeah, in our mistakes.
It's hard to be funny on Zoom, I feel like.
Oh, it's just like work, isn't it?
It's just like work. It absolutely is.
It's work.
Draining. It really is draining.
Yeah.
I think I'll quit the podcast too.
Yeah, I mean, your new co-hosts, they are not local.
They can do it. They can do it all on their own.
Yeah, they
Okay.
can.
Sorry, fellas.
It's now a double sign-off.
Goodbye, Wakanda forever, and goodbye forever. Well, speaking of those new hosts, Adam, we should say our next episode obviously will not feature both you and I as the co-host. It'll feature just me and one of our brand new co-hosts, Kale.
Yes, Kale is coming on the show. He is going to be an official co-host.
He sure is. We're going to spend the entire episode. We're going to have a full-length episode, but the main feature segment of the episode will be basically just a tea party with me and Kale, learning about what he loves about Disney and what he thinks of some of these hot topics. And we want to do some questions and Peter Pantswers with Kale as well. So if you have some burning questions for Kale, send them our way.
Questions for Kale.
Questions for Kale.
Some Kale-stons.
Oh, I like it. Questions with a K.
That's right. That's right.
Or Kale with a Q. I don't know.
It's Kale, but with a Q.
He would do that, I feel like.
All right, so if you want to send in some questions for Kale with a K or a Q, you can do so by reaching out to us on social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast.
Or send us that voice memo or email to info@gaysdothed.com with a C, not a Q or a K.
I do wish for voice memos for Kale. I want people to communicate. I want to hear them. I want to hear their voices. I want Kale to hear their voices.
We're going to get filthy messages, I feel like.
You know what? That's what the censor beep is for.
True story. It's gonna be a heavily used censor beep when Kale's on an episode.
All right, folks. So send in your questions. And with that, Patrick, I believe it is time for us to head into the news.
With a Q. The Canoes. For the 5th year in a row, the Walt Disney Company has received a top score on the 2022 Disability Equality Index. The DEI is the world's most comprehensive benchmark used to measure disability workplace inclusion. Within the index, Disney was specifically recognized as one of the best places to work for disability inclusion. A quote from Disney SVP and Chief Diversity Officer and all-around queen, Latondra Newton. At the Walt Disney Company, we are committed to ensuring that the stories we tell, the immersive experiences we create, and the products and services we offer celebrate the unique abilities of everyone. Over 1 billion people globally live with disabilities, crossing lines of age, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, religion, and socioeconomic status. Disney strives to evolve its ongoing commitment to people living with disabilities through inclusive workplace programs and policies. Disney is also committed to producing more accessible content, products, and experiences for its guests, from adopting modernized best practices and creating inclusive content to building more more accessible spaces across parks and resorts. To learn more about Disney's efforts in this area, head to reimaginetomorrow.disney.com.
This really just hit me right now listening to you. First of all, it's so much easier to pay attention to the news when you're right across the table from me. But second of all, work can be so challenging when you aren't dealing with a disability.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how meaningful it is when a company takes the initiative to make you as comfortable as possible to make sure that you can do what you need to do while you're at work. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And to produce that without making it sort of, I guess, noticeable.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just making it effortless
Right.
for everybody of all abilities to access the same things, the same content, the same workspaces, the same
Right.
environments.
I wish you had taken the time to make things accessible for me on this podcast. You clearly have never made any kind of effort
No.
to make me comfortable, to make me feel like I could get where I needed to go. I've
Yes.
felt trapped this entire time.
Well, this is an exclusive kind of a podcast ad.
This episode is for sure. You're like, bye.
Exit out.
Patrick, let's talk about Comic-Con.
Yes, please.
Let's nerd out. On Saturday, July 23rd in Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con, Kevin Feige, president of Marvel Studios and chief creative officer of Marvel, took to the stage to showcase the upcoming slate of Marvel Cinematic Universe titles with trailers, special looks, Q&As with talent and filmmakers, major announcements, and a live show-stopping performance. I don't think Kevin was involved in the performance, but maybe.
I'd like to think that he was.
He's a tap man. It's not really widely known, but he's
No.
a song and dance man for sure.
100%.
Fans at San Diego Comic-Con were also the first to learn that phases 4, 5, and 6 are officially part of the multiverse saga, which will conclude with 2 new Avengers films. We've previously talked about the next Phase 4 title, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, which will debut exclusively on Disney Plus August 17th, 2022. After that, Black Panther, as we've already mentioned, Wakanda Forever, will close out Phase 4 of the MCU and open in U.S. theaters on November 11th, 2022. Feige then announced that Phase 5 will kick off with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania on February 17th, 2023, followed by Secret Invasion, which will launch on Disney Plus in spring 2023. And after all that, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will open in theaters on May 5th, 2023. And new details emerged regarding a host of previously announced titles in Phase 5. 3 series are currently in production for Disney+. Echo, streaming summer 2023, Loki Season 2, streaming summer 2023, and Ironheart, streaming fall 2023. Agatha, Coven of Chaos begins filming later, streaming winter 2023. Used to be called House of Harkness. They changed the title.
I think so. Yeah, I remember that now.
What does that mean?
Interesting.
I do like Coven of Chaos, though.
Yeah, it almost sounds campier that way.
Oh, I hope it's campy.
It better be.
Like a variety hour hosted by Cher, but it's Agatha.
And now my friend Rufus Wainwright.
Where did that come from?
I just feel like that's the thing you say when you're hosting a variety hour.
Rufus Wainwright. Wow. Phase 5 theatrical releases include The Marvels, directed by Nia DaCosta, opening July 28th, 2023, and Blade, which will begin shooting in October and open in theaters November 3rd, 2023. Feige also shared for the first time a trio of captivating projects that will debut in 2024. Captain America New World Order will open in theaters on May 3rd, 2024. Daredevil Born Again, an 18 episodes, Patrick.
That's a lot for a Disney Plus show.
That's a lot these days. We don't do 18 episodes anymore. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, there's going to be 18 episodes starring Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. Will stream on Disney Plus in spring 2024. Thunderbolts, featuring an exciting new group of heroes, will open in theaters on July 26th, 2024. All right, Phase 6. Here we go. This is like so many numbers, so many dates. Everyone's confused.
Yeah. I feel like you could just make up stuff now. And
I could.
I'll be like, yeah, that sounds fun.
Phase 6. Patrick and I make our theatrical debuts in Sparkles and McGee.
Sparkles and McGee, fighting crime.
That's right. That's what we do. And we also dance.
That's what our variety show is called.
Okay, Phase 6 of the MCU promises compelling storytelling and Marvel Studios' signature style of adventure. Fantastic Four will open in theaters on November 8th, 2024. Production kicks off in 2023 for the feature film that introduces Marvel's most iconic family. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty will open in theaters May 2nd, 2025, followed by Avengers: Secret Wars. Secret Wars. Shh. That opens on November 7th, 2025. And finally, it was announced last Thursday that John Bernthal would be returning as Frank Castle in a Disney Plus The Punisher series that will be, get this, Patrick, rated TVMA.
Ooh, mature audiences.
On Disney Plus.
Interesting.
Additional details about that series will be announced at this fall's D23 Expo, Patrick.
Good segue into my next thought. I wonder if D23 and Comic-Con have a fight on their hands when when they have to decide who gets to release what information when.
Yeah, I can't imagine how they decide that or like... Yeah, my guess is that you're going to be seeing a lot of like Marvel sneak peeks at D23, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I feel like Comic-Con is actually the place to do all this because obviously it's more comic book related.
Yeah.
Whereas the D23 Expo, I feel like, and this will be my first time going, so I could just be making this up, is more fans of like the parks and experiences than they are of the Marvel of it all.
Yeah, it's going to be like a broader presentation of the Walt Disney Company as a whole, or like the entertainment side of it anyway. Whereas they really get to like zero in on Marvel at Comic-Con.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, interesting, fascinating, very exciting stuff. I do finally feel though that I'm getting oversaturated with Marvel.
I agree. You know, I was like reading all of these dates and like films, and a lot of these titles that were announced don't mean anything to me. And that doesn't really mean anything to me that I just said that because I'm not like a comic book fan. Yeah. So like the first however many phases, 3 we've been through up until this point, you know, I wasn't that familiar with the content, but when I read all of this stuff, I'm like, is this where I kind of like just fade into the background and maybe say my time with Marvel may be done, or at least like, you know, kind of more focused than it has been.
Yeah, I think now there's just no way to keep up with it all. You sort of have to pick and choose now. And I think that's why they're doing more standalone things rather than bringing them all together like the Avengers were.
Yeah. I think it's so great, though, that we've got that, you know, that we've got the theatrical release, and then, you know, Disney Plus has kind of committed to that 45 days after theatrical it appears on Disney Plus. So we do have the option of maybe like saving a few bucks where we can and just saying, I'm going to wait for this one to come on Disney Plus.
That's true. That's already like a $500 a year if you want to go to the theaters.
Yes.
Well, Adam, this is it.
This is it.
Get out. Get out of my basement.
Yes, I'll leave.
You've
finally
been secretly living here for 3 years and zooming.
I have. We did keep physical distance, but we did record in the basement and live together in the basement.
And my surprise present was knowing that you were here all this whole time. I didn't know.
You thought the house was haunted. It was me.
It's clear I have not been using my gym.
Yeah, there's like a mat back there with spider webs on it.
You could have cleaned up while you were here, but you decided not to. But you know what? Today is such a mixed bag of emotions because I'm so excited, A, to see you in person for the first time since October.
I know.
B, have you in my home for the first time in 3 years.
Yeah.
And then it's also on the flip side, super, like I do not want to hit stop after, I want to keep recording. You know?
We were just talking about, in between recording segments about how just so much more magical it is to be able to sit across the table from someone and to like look them in the eyes. And when we're both talking about Disney and we get so kind of like sparked by it, it's just so delightful to be able to play off each other and have that instant reaction.
Visual social cues are back, everybody.
For 2022, visual social cues.
It's trending here. Oh, I love it. I love it. So I figured we kind of keep today casual, right? Let's just talk about the past. Let's talk about what's coming up in the future. Let's empty out that mailbag that we have.
Yes, we still have some questions from Tweedles that we need to answer.
We do indeed. We have some messages for you as well that we need to get through. I'm basically trying to make you cry the entire episode.
Well, I think you're going to succeed at some point. Will it be related to my leaving the episode or leaving the podcast? I don't know.
Well, I have some things to say to you that I've been meaning to get off my chest.
Get it out now. Get it out now.
That's right. I don't want you to happy cry. I want you to cry in fear. I love it. I love it. Well, what do you say? Actually, you know what? I want to start out with those messages because I feel like I cannot be the only one to express how much this has all meant to me being with you on the podcast. I want you to hear from the people, Adam. I've gathered some lovely voice messages from our new hosts who want to sort of send you off into the sunset, and we can welcome them onto the show as well. And then also our lovely friend and frequent guest, Chris from Wishful Thinking, had some lovely things to say to you. Are you ready to hear those now, Adam?
Talk to me, boys.
Adam, Mr. Hummel, if you're nasty, this is Ryan, and I wanted to just give you a quick farewell message as this is your last episode on the podcast. Congratulations for all of the amazing work that you've done over the past few years. As quick story time, me and Lane found y'all's podcast one time randomly on a road trip. We were, I believe, driving like 10 hours, and we found y'all's podcast at the very beginning of the road trip, and we listened to over 10 episodes of you in a row. And that was our launch into Gaze to the D. That was our launch into the Disney community. We had always been kind of adjacent to it, and you both were just such a wonderful welcome wagon, and we just dove headfirst in, and y'all were kind of one of the main cornerstones of our family tradition. I think back to pre-pandemic, you were part of my commute every morning in Nashville. You helped us get through lockdown with bringing great Disney news and lots of lively banter, even though the world was on fire. And even now, I just look back on all of the amazing, impactful statements that you've made for marginalized communities within media. And I am just so appreciative of all of the education and all of the innuendos that you have brought to my ears for a really long time. I hope that this last episode is everything that you could have ever wanted and needed. And I know that this is not a hard goodbye. It's just a soft goodbye, because I can't wait to have you a guest on a future episode soon. Hope you have a great farewell. And I hope that Patrick is throwing you a Zoom party to celebrate you. Patrick, if not, we'll discuss this later. And see you real soon, Adam. Bye.
Hi, Adam. It is your old pal, Kale. I'm sorry for the sound of my voice. I am currently nursing myself through COVID-19 because apparently there is a law stated somewhere that you cannot be both devastatingly handsome and perfectly healthy. So I suppose it was bound to catch me at some point. I just wanted to let you know that you and Patrick on this podcast have brought me so much joy over the years and joy to so many others. And I'm so thankful that you guys have asked me to be a part of this. You're going to be sincerely missed. And I hope I get to see you soon. I hope you're doing well. And thank you so much.
Adam, riding off into the sunset, Hummel. I hope you have at least a small inkling of how much you'll be missed by Tweedles near and far, including me. As you sail out on your magic carpet from the cave of wonders that is Patrick's basement, which is where I can only assume you are kept in between episodes, I want you to know that I am so grateful for the voice you've brought to GDTD, and I am so incredibly honored to be filling even a fraction of your shoes. I adore you and Matthew, and I wish you the very best. I don't like goodbyes, unless I'm tired and ready to go home, in which case I think the world of them, but this is not one of those times. So I'll just say, see you real soon.
Adam, it feels like you're graduating from high school while the rest of us have just gotten our driver's licenses. And you're like going off to college and like we're hoping that you show up at homecoming sometimes and tell us how much fun you're having with all the grown-ups. Listen, the reality is that if you had not started this podcast, there was a whole lot of incredible people who I would not know. So I need to very sincerely thank you. I genuinely believe that good people attract other good people. And so I know that you're going to have an incredible impact on all your future adventures. I really just hope that you come back from time to time and let us know how you're doing. We will miss you.
You guys, that was so incredibly sweet. Thank you for those messages. Ryan's was the longest. So that's important.
Yeah.
That's important.
Noted.
Yeah.
Noted.
I am really looking forward to hearing the upcoming episodes. Just each one of you, Ryan, JT, Kale, all three of you are so incredibly funny and smart and talented. And I know you're going to be a wonderful addition to this podcast. And the rapport you have with Patrick already, I mean, we've heard it when he introduced you on the episodes. It's going to be great. And Chris, my regret is that we didn't have you on the episode or on the podcast before I left, but hopefully we will run into each other soon in a Disney park. And I just adore you. And I'm so glad that you became a part of our family here and have been such a amazing addition. I mean, everyone who has used your services, everyone who meets you just loves you. So hopefully you'll be on an episode very soon, and those who haven't yet had a chance to experience the magic that you bring to episodes will know what Chris can deliver.
It's true. Not a week goes by, I feel like, when we don't hear a note from one of our tweetles about how amazing his services are and how amazing he is. So, it's very exciting. And I want to just, to you, Adam, just back up everything that they just said to you. It's true. Like, you have brought such a lovely voice to this podcast. You know, 4 years ago, I woke up to a text saying, hey, let's do a podcast called Gays Do the D. You just sort of started out. And that was a spark that just got us together. And something that started out as just a way almost for you and I to reconnect as friends, really, and truthfully, turned into something that I don't think either one of us expected. And that is connecting with so many people literally around the world, right?
It has been amazing. And, you know, it is phenomenal to go into a park and run into people who are listeners to the podcast and who just come up to say hi, and we have a great little chat or grab a drink with them. And, you know, all of that is amazing. The kind of connections we've made all over the world, that's amazing. But what's been kind of the most meaningful thing is being able to sit down with my friend, whether it's across the table or via Zoom, and just have a chat about what's going on in Disney and how we're feeling about it. Yeah,
absolutely. And after this, I feel like you probably won't hear from me for a while, so
we're done.
Soak it all in now.
Yeah, okay.
Adam, we're done.
Okay, we're done.
This was the one thing, the one thread, the tiny thread that was holding us together.
This is what was keeping our relationship alive. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny because it's true. It's so true.
Well, to be honest, I mean, we would, a lot of the times what we were talking about via text or email was the podcast.
Yeah.
So now it's like we're going to be talking about our personal lives again.
I know. You sent me a note about something with one of your family members the other day, and I was like, this isn't interesting to me. I want to know about Disney.
Yeah, not related to the podcast.
Oh, good times, good times. Yeah, no, it's just what a weird adventure this has all been. It's been so exciting, and I'm very excited to see what happens next and what I'm sort of calling in my head GDTD 2.0, right?
Yeah.
We know that you'll still be part of it. This is, as you said earlier in the episode, this is not a goodbye. This is not your last moment with the show, but you know, it's just sort of an opening to the next chapter.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still be getting my residual checks.
100%.
So I need to cash those.
That's right. I will be sponsoring you for 6 cents a month.
I love that GDTD 2.0. Like, I'm excited to see what's next and the new flavor that the guys bring and how the show transforms. Or, I just think that the world is your oyster. Slurp it up out of that shell.
Just hold that image in your minds for just a moment longer, everybody. Oh, what a transition. What a transition. Now, I want to ask a few questions of you, just from me.
Okay.
Before we get into the questions and Peter Panswer of it all. But let's have a little conversation about the past, right? Let's talk about what are some favorite moments that you've had from the podcast that really stand out for you.
Yeah. Well, there's like the big moments, right? Which we've kind of talked about in previous episodes. So like the thing that always jumps to the top of my mind is talking to Susan Egan and Benjamin Rahala about what was then called Broadway Princess Party. What was it called?
Yeah, it was before Disney got its hands on it.
Yeah, before Disney Princess the Concert, which it is now. Wow. Is that because of us? Did we foster that development of that show?
I think we can take some credit for that. I think we can.
Because when we saw the initial incarnation, it was just some balloons and some streamers on a stage.
Yeah.
And now there's like a full like four-story tall LCD screen behind them.
Oh, yeah. There's a full set and costumes and everything now.
Okay. That's because of us.
We did it.
It's not because of the talent of the people in the show. It's because of us.
Very that.
Okay. Loved talking to Don Hahn. That was amazing. And, it wasn't because of his stature or his like prominence in the filmmaking community. Although, I mean, that's obviously very, very amazing. But what was great is we got to have this very intimate conversation about Howard Ashman and their relationship, their working relationship, and what he really brought to the table when it came to reshaping how Disney produces an animated movie musical.
It's interesting. Howard Ashman came up in that episode, obviously, and then in the Susan Egan episode as well. What an impact that man had on all of Disney.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there would be a Disney, honestly, without him today. When you think about those Eisner years and you think about prior to that and how, the company was going to be like split up and sold into different, iterations or different like components. And Howard Ashman really did kind of save that company with his incredible talent.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Moving back to Don Hahn for a second, what really struck me about that episode was how approachable he was with us. He could not have been nicer. He was, of all the guests, all of our guests have been incredibly amazing and incredibly accommodating, but he went so far as to like record his own track, I feel like, and send it back to us. And we had some technical difficulties, and he was so humble and nice. And I did not expect that at all. You know what I mean? I didn't expect him to be a jerk by any stretch, but I don't know, he blew me out of the water with how amazing he was with us.
Yeah. And then of course it was a delight to have Nina West on the podcast as well. Our compatriot in Disney fandom and Disney geekery, and she just really kind of encapsulates everything, the kind of amazing enthusiasm that Disney fans have.
Such an amazing treat that we were, I don't know, privileged to. I still get a giggle every once in a while she'll sneak in and like something of ours or repost something of ours or of you and me personally, and it just, I don't know, for some reason she just always makes me smile when she pops into the Instagram.
Yeah, she's kind.
Yeah.
Patrick, she likes to be kind.
Yeah, a monster in real life, but as Nina West, what a treasure.
Behind that makeup lies a monster.
And I feel like we catapulted her into Disney as well.
I mean, didn't we though?
Yes.
Really, didn't we? Really, there's so many people that have us to thank for their incredible careers.
We brought Hamilton to Disney Plus.
Hamilton, that's right. We talked to Sydney Harcourt, also an amazing interview. I mean, really, all the interviews happened during the pandemic. It's really the fact that people were just at home and had nothing else to do but talk to these two no-names.
People were trapped, and we really capitalized on that. We know, we know how to get you.
That's right. That's right. But again, those were amazing moments. And I know I brought this up on the podcast before too. But when it comes right down to it, it really what it was when we were doing this week after week or bi-weekly, it was about sitting down with you, and just having these kind of like laugh out loud moments together. And not only celebrating Disney, but also making fun of it because we know how ridiculous this can be.
We didn't know how ridiculous it was at first. Do you remember? I feel like in the early days, like we weren't taking it too seriously,
Right.
but we were doing, a Disney podcast with
Yeah.
two friends. And now I feel like we're doing a friendship podcast about Disney.
Oh, I love how you spun that.
I thought I was training my dog, but my dog was training me the whole time.
To love and laugh. Yes.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Who's the dog in that scenario?
I think we both know.
Okay.
It's our Tweedles.
You're the dogs.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so what is something that you wish we would have gotten to that we didn't have the chance to yet, or something that you wanted to cover but we didn't for some reason?
That's a good question.
I know, I asked it.
Do you know this is not his fault. This is not blaming him. But I did really want to try to get Zach Ridley on the podcast to talk about Epcot.
I know.
And I reached out and he saw it on Instagram. That's enough. He's got enough on his plate, I know, but I felt like he would have been kind of a great fit for the podcast. Like, I feel like his energy would have meshed with ours and we kind of would have clicked in that regard. And I really wanted to kind of get his enthusiastic take on the now multi-year reworking of Epcot.
Yeah, he left us on red.
He did, but he has every right to do that because
He's a smidge busy.
he's got some things going on.
Right.
He's got to paint his nails.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. Work a little harder, though, Mr. Ridley, because Epcot, it's not there yet. It's not there yet.
It's not there yet. No, it's not. But I have faith that it will be there under his kind of leadership and guidance.
Yeah.
And aside from that, I feel like I didn't really have any expectations going into this other than we just had to sit down and have a chat, about it. So I always felt really good about what we produced. And I hope that the Tweedles feel that same way. Like I take pride in what we've created in this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. It is clear that you had no expectations. That's very, it's very clear. And also on next week's episode, Zach Ridley, strangely enough.
Well, you know what? Okay, Zach. I guess I will submit my questions now that I'm a Tweedle. I'll submit my questions for Zach.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Last question from me for now. Where do you hope the podcast will go from here? What are you hoping to see from it? And what might bring you back for an episode?
I have no expectations. Truly, Patrick, I don't. Like
You really shouldn't.
I would love to see it continue to grow and like to have more and more new Tweedles. And I'd love to see you guys like somehow get affiliated with Disney. Like I think it needs to like somehow happen. Like there needs to be a connection made there. I know we can be a little ribald. Is that how you say it? Like, or like, salacious or like scandalous at times, but I feel like there needs to be some kind of connection made there. And, like how amazing would it be if they were like, come down and like kind of do an episode during gay days or something like that. We're going to sponsor that. I know it's a long shot, but that would be a dream to see you guys do that, particularly to get all four of you together, like on a panel podcast situation. I think that'd be hilarious. Or I have all these dreams now. What if you guys were like asked to host a panel at D23 Expo and like that could be an episode of the podcast as well. I think there's just a lot of directions this could go. And I only see big things for you guys.
Well, as someone who is 5'5", I only see big things as well, Adam. But thank you.
Oh, that's kind of nice. I mean, tall, big. That's going back to the salacious thing.
Fair enough. So are those things those are the only reasons you would come back, though, if we got... Just kidding.
Well, first of all, yes.
Yeah.
And second of all, I would love to come back after I've gone on a trip, right? Like I want to go to Disneyland in the new year.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to come back on and just do like a trip report. I think that'd be really fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
Maybe this is our chance to do a cruise.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. Our first take on a Disney cruise. Have the other guys done Disney cruises? I think JT hasn't he?
I think all three of them have, actually.
Okay, so they're the experts when it comes to that.
They really are. None of them have invited me on one of those trips. But that's fine. That's fine. We have some things to talk about.
Well, they owe you now.
They really do. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe an international park.
Oh, I mean, from your mouth, Patrick, I would love to go international.
I'm okay on it, I guess. I'm just, now that I say it out loud, I don't know.
Right.
Seems like a lot of work. Chris, if you're listening.
He will happily plan an international trip for anyone who wants it, I'm sure.
That's right. There will be 50 of us, Chris. Start working now.
Yes.
All right. Well, what do you say we dig into that mailbag? It's a fire sale here in the mailbag.
That's right. We have some questions to get through. Some of these, I'm fairly certain, are from well over a year ago, but we're just going to answer them. And we're going to start with Rodri, who you can find on Instagram at Rod Meets World, if that is still even his handle, I guess.
Oh, it did change. I think it's back to that now.
Okay, is it?
I think.
I mean, again, these were entered into our notes months, if not a year ago, so everyone's handle could have changed. Anyway, Rodri asks, would you ever do a take two on the earlier package films, such as Fun and Fancy Free, Make Music Mine? Or is it Make Mine Music? Wasn't it Make Mine Music?
I think it's Make Mine Music.
Or Melody Time? And my answer is no.
Hard pass.
I'm done. Patrick, would you ever do the package films?
No, absolutely. I actually really love those. Those are what I kind of grew up on. My dad is really a big fan of those films, and we watched them a lot when I was younger. So yeah, I would absolutely do that. I feel like that'd be a good one for JT to jump in on too, because he loves sort of the history, the historical Disney films, I would say.
JT is your vintage guy for sure, it feels like. He likes a vintage film. He likes a historical moment. I mean, I don't want to talk on his behalf, but that's your role now, JT. That's what you do.
Yep, we're going to put you in that box now.
That's right. Rodri, thank you for that question.
Thanks, Rodri. All right, up next we have Jeff from Instagram at Just Jeff Riffle. Jeff has a few questions. Let's just get through them all. We're going to empty it out, everybody. Yeah. We're going to answer every single thing. First question up: where should the next Disney prince or princess be from, and what ideas do you have for the story?
You know what we really haven't explored yet is a princess from a Frozen environment. Can we get that?
A cold weather princess, you say? I don't think it'll work.
What if everyone thinks her heart is icy, but she's actually just conflicted because she's truly has a mental illness that she needs to address?
Nope, I don't see it happening.
Okay. So where should the next Disney prince or princess be from? And are we even doing princes and princesses anymore? I guess we still are, because Enchanted's coming out, Enchanted 2.
That's true.
And the Tiana series is coming to Disney Plus.
We're doing it. We're saying princess again, apparently.
But the definition has definitely changed, because it's not the traditional kind of...
Yeah, I think we're stepping away from you have to be royalty to do this. It's just a brave character.
Right. So where are they from, Patrick? Canada. Have we had a Canadian?
Well, we just had Seeing Red. That was set in Canada.
Is May a princess then? Are we considering her a princess?
Good question. I don't know. Yeah, I guess what are we considering princes and princesses? Are we just considering them the lead character of a story? Is Mirabelle a princess now?
Oh God! I mean, it's real. We're really getting into the weeds on this question, Jeff.
We really are. You know, where we absolutely need to explore more. Anyone coming from Africa, I would say there is just not enough storytelling out of Africa right now.
That's right. We've had animals from Africa,
right,
and we've had African American characters,
sure,
but we really haven't explored an African animated story,
right?
At least not that I'm aware of, where there's appropriate representation on screen.
There it is right there. Appropriate representation.
Actually, I think, isn't there a movie in development around this or from Africa? It's sparking in my mind. I feel like we talked about this in the news segment many moons ago.
Well, here's the problem. It's not, they're not putting it in the forefront if it is happening right now. So we need more representation and appropriate representation.
Hopefully we'll see it at D23. I recall there's a project in development. So hopefully we'll hear about that, but there's something in the works.
Yeah.
Regardless. But you know what? He brings up Disney Prince, and that's interesting because... yes, it's a male, but it'd be interesting to have a prince. And let's just say it. Let's get a gay prince. Let's get a gay prince, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, let's get a gay anything, really, as a lead character of a Disney film. But yeah, I think it's time we had a gay prince.
Yeah, a mincing prince. That's what I want.
I like it. So there you go, Jeff. A gay prince from Africa.
I love it. I love it. Let's make it happen. The million moms are so mad right now, Patrick.
They've never been real pleased with us. But
They're like, my child's never going to see that. Jeff also asks, do your husbands / boyfriends, we have multiples, Patrick, and yes, you are right. We do both have husbands and boyfriends. Do your husbands, boyfriends love Disney as much as you both do?
I feel like we've addressed this on the podcast before, but let's address it again since it's a question. No is the answer for me. Dan does appreciate Disney, but he'll go like once every 4 years to the parks with me.
Yeah.
He's a backseat Disney enthusiast.
Yeah, and Matthew's all in a different way. Like he's more of like rides and like amusement park in general.
Yeah.
But he'll happily like go on a Disney trip and like loves the magic of it all. He's just not so much into the history like we are. He just wants to go have fun.
Right. Yeah. Very that. I would say I would throw Dan in the Universal camp more than I would in the Disney camp.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Like he is definitely more like goth, likes to smoke and hang out at City Walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
City Walk. No, never again.
I'm going in October. Jeff says, bonus, if you could work for the Disney company, what would be your dream career with Disney? Or if you would never work for the company, ignore this bonus question.
I love that. I think we've answered this before too, but I think, I don't know if my answer has changed or not. I feel like I would want to do, and this is not dreaming big at all, but be a tour guide. I feel like in the parks would be super fun.
Oh, like a VIP tour guide.
Yeah, I would love to do that, or something in like in Animal Kingdom with the animals on the safari.
Well, first of all, let me say you look amazing in plaid, so you'd be a great VIP tour guide, and you do love those rhinos.
I do love the rhinos.
Yeah, I would love to work for Disney. I think maybe my answer has changed over the course of this podcast. I think maybe before I said I don't know if I would want to, or like the magic would be ruined, but I would love to do it now. And I would love to do a Disney podcast. So Disney, if you're listening, I have retired from this podcast and I am incredibly creative and resourceful and I know good audio. So please give me a call. Let's make some magic happen.
It's funny that you say retired. You were fired from this podcast.
I heard retired.
Okay, got it. We hear what we want to hear. That's
right.
Very true. I would also be interested in joining, like, when they are developing a new movie or an animation film, the brain trusts that they create for just like bouncing ideas off and figuring out what's problematic, what works. I would love to be a part of one of those collaboration groups. I'm not a writer, I'm not an animator, but I would like to be a collaborator.
It's so interesting to watch those behind the scenes documentaries because some of those roles seem so ethereal or like you can't quite get a grasp on what that person's doing aside from like just talking and providing creative direction.
Right.
Like, I don't know if there's actual like physical work being done or are they just purely like creating ideas?
Yeah.
Like an Imagineer. I want that role.
Yeah, I want people to question what I do at the company, but still get paid as a high up Disney employee.
So much money and stock.
Yeah. I want those stock options. That's for sure.
Who are we hearing from next, Patrick?
Thank you so much for asking. Blair from Instagram at adventures_with_Blair. I feel like their handle has changed as well, or am I wrong?
Keep talking, I'll look it up.
Thank you so much. Blair is asking, do we think Tron will ever be finished, or will it just be a monstrosity forever?
Great question. Valid question, Blair.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is this question was probably asked about a year and a half ago, and it still holds true today.
Wow, it's taking a long time, isn't it?
It really is. They couldn't be going any slower on this ride, I feel like.
I saw the other day someone had posted video of them testing it. So things are moving, which is good, right?
Things are literally moving now. That is good. If I'm a betting man, it's not happening this year. It's happening early next year.
Yeah, it does seem like maybe an early next year thing, or maybe even Memorial Day next year. Like, they do like to open a ride at the beginning of a summer situation.
Yeah. Hard to know.
But I bet you'll be learning at D23 Expo.
This is true. Good point. Stay tuned for the September, I almost said issue, the September issue, where we're featuring plaids.
Plaids, florals for fall. Groundbreaking. And by the way, Adventures with Blair is their handle. There's no underscore anymore, though.
Oh, get rid of that underscore.
Moving on up.
Overscore it.
Yeah, Tron. We'll see. I'm excited to ride it whenever it does open. I hope I can still physically fit in the attraction or in the ride vehicle.
Stop it. I think it's going to be a barfer, though. I think that one's going to be a barfer.
You think so?
I mean, listen, Cosmic Rewind got me, and I think Tron's going to be, I don't know if it's hard to know. Is it going to be more intense or the same intensity? It looks crazy.
I think it's going to be, I mean, it's so smooth, right?
Yeah.
And I think because there's the open air element for a portion of it, I think that's going to give you a little breather. I think you're going to be okay.
Fair enough. So if I do barf, it'll be on someone in the parks.
That's right. That's part of the experience. There's the barf zone. That's
right.
Underneath Tron.
That's right. The splash zone.
Oh, that's so gross. That is so disgusting.
And needed.
It's probably happened. I'm assuming it has.
It has to have happened. Tweedles, if you're listening, let us know. Have you been barfed on?
Or have you been the barfer?
Is there a term for that? Like a position situation of like, are you a barfer or a barfy?
I'm sure if that's someone's fetish, there are roles that are assigned, yes.
This is why we're never getting connected with Disney.
I'm leaving Disney. I wash my hands of this whole situation. I will be pristine for you.
Oh, and I never wash my hands.
All right, moving on. We have an email from Ben. Ben asks, I know Adam is more memories than merch, but what is your most prized Disney possession and why? Along the same lines, do you have a favorite piece of Disney clothing? Where, when did you get it, and why is it your favorite?
Excellent. And only you get to answer.
No, you get to answer too.
No, it says Adam.
But I'm not going to have an answer because I'm more memories than merch.
And I can't remember a thing. I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
Well, it's very convenient that we're in your basement because we are surrounded, absolutely surrounded by Disney merch right now.
An obscene amount of Disney merch.
I came down and I was like, wow. I mean, it's very impressive the way you have it set up, and it's very kind of organized very neatly. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's the first compliment I've gotten from you in a while.
And so many race medals. Would you say those are, I mean, would those be, they probably wouldn't qualify as merch, but they're certainly like very meaningful to you.
Those are my achievements, Adam.
Well, okay, I guess.
I walked so many miles for those medals.
I got up at 2:30 in the morning for each one of those.
I would actually say, I'm going to classify them with my Disney merch and say those are my most prized possessions. Whether or not they're just beautiful, I think. You know what I mean? Like the history and the stories behind them, I just really love them. I think Disney does such a great job with creating them.
I totally agree. They are a beautiful memento to mark a meaningful moment in your life.
And you know what? They're a memory and a merch at the same time. And I think that's what makes a merch very memorable. I'm sounding redundant right now, but I think that's what makes the best merch is one that is tied to a memory.
A merchery.
A merchery.
We trademark that now.
Yep, I like it.
And Ben, you're right. You know, I don't really have a lot of Disney merch. And I definitely have more memories. I love looking at the merch, though. I really do love looking at the merch, and I appreciate every single item that is covered in sequins. Those are what I'm drawn to.
It's true. You sparkly, sparkly queen.
All right, where are we off to next?
We are off to the land of Patreon territory, Adam. We have a question or two questions from Kel S., who is a Patreon member. Kel says, have either of you been to Celebration, Florida? If so, what do you think of it, and would you ever live there?
Never been. I've never been to Celebration, Florida.
I've never been there either. I've heard rumors that it's not as magical as you might think it is.
Dated.
Well, I think like dated, and I think that this is all just me talking out of what I think I've heard before, but that people were sort of sold on the idea that it is very Disney and it's magical and you're going to love it there. And it's actually just sort of like a retirement community, basically. Like, it's not as like young and fresh as you think it's going to be.
Okay. So it's a retirement community for active seniors.
I hope so. I mean, I'll go there, I guess, if that's the case. But again, maybe I'm making that up. I feel like that's what I've been told before.
Okay. Yeah, I would be interested in like taking a little drive through, and can we even drive through it, or is it gated?
I think you can go. I think you can explore the town.
Yeah, because there's like a little downtown shopping area, right?
I believe so. I think and in the wintertime, I think they set up like a fake ice rink and it snows there during the holidays. So yeah, who knows?
All right. So a stop in Celebration, Florida is yet to come.
Yet to come. Tweedles, if you have been, or maybe you live there and I've just highly offended you, let us know. Let us know.
Reach out to us. What's your review of Celebration, Florida?
Won't you please? Do you celebrate Celebration, Florida?
What's Kel's second question?
Well, I'm actually not going to ask it, Adam, because we've already answered it. She also asked about jobs within Disney.
Oh, yeah. Still available for a podcast, Disney. Still available.
A lot of you want us to have a career change, it sounds like.
All right, we got an email from Lucas. Lucas says, Disney learned some new lessons and is prepared for the next pandemic. Oh, Lucas. We're not even through this one.
Fair.
That hopefully will never come. Okay, you saved yourself there, Lucas. With a Disney Parks food delivery service. Yes, in case of a new pandemic, we are going to be able to order Disney food from the comfort of our homes. What is this service going to be like?
Okay, first of all, I really love this idea, and I've always wanted to be able to order Disney treats from the parks to be delivered to my home, and it's just not really a thing that happens.
They kind of offer something, don't they? Where like you can get like a subscription or something. Don't they offer something like that?
Yeah, it's not through Disney. It's like people doing it on their own, and they, I believe, like live in Florida, and so they go to the parks or to some of the stores that sell discount Disney stuff and then send it to you.
Okay. So you want snacks and treats and things like directly from the park.
Yes, I want crispy treats sent to my home.
Tweedles, you can make that happen.
And I mean, the name already is just Disney Delivers, right? I mean, come on.
Double D.
Double D.
Yeah. Disney Delivers. Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing. There's multiple 100 million bajillion times where I've been sitting at home thinking, you know what I could really go for right now that's only available at Disney?
A chili dog.
A chili dog.
Send that in the mail, please.
Oh. Send it the slowest post you possibly can.
Let it simmer for a while, you know?
A good aged chili dog?
That's right. Let it stew.
Oh. Delicious. I'll tell you what's going to be stewing after I eat that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. It's going to be trouble.
Oh, boy.
Trouble. No, but like, so Rice Krispie treat for you. For me, oh gosh, churro toffee. That'd be something that could easily be shipped. That would be delicious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there should be some kind of way. And if there is a way, please reach out because we'd love to know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Or if you live in Florida, just send me some crispy treats. I don't know why you're not doing it already.
Ryan, you have your marching orders. New co-host Ryan.
That's part of the contract.
Lucas also asks, Disney World is bringing the Porto Rosso Cup to life. Maybe similar to a Run Disney event. I don't know. What's this going to be like?
I like that we're doing Quick D right now here in the main.
True.
Yeah, in the main seg. That's a really good. You're full of good ideas, Lucas.
Patrick was looking directly at me and I was like really proud for a moment.
Yeah.
And then I realized that it wasn't my idea.
I would never compliment you.
I do love this idea. I think it'd be really cute. Like, How would we work in Vespas into this? Like, how would Vespas fit in?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I would love to see. I think you know what I think. Like along these lines, it's not the same thing. But remember the old like soapbox derbies or whatever that people came and you had to create your own sort of go kart. I would love that. Would be really fun to see what people come up with design wise.
That's a great idea. Yeah, actually, kind of similar to what they do at Fort Wilderness, right? Where people decorate like their golf carts at Halloween or at Christmas. Kind of that same along those same lines.
I love this. I'm in love with this idea. Lucas, you should work for Disney.
What if, Patrick, what if this was more of like a triathlon where there was a swimming element to it too? And they would remove the alligators, everyone. They wouldn't be in the water. But that would tie into Luca because you are like a sea creature then.
Oh, yeah. And then there's a plate of fudge at the end of it that you have to get through.
A competitive eating element. Okay.
I think we're onto something.
What about Machiavelli? We got to get that cat in there somewhere. He could be on the medal.
Oh, I like that. And it's like a sound effect medal too. You press it and it just goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that idea. Good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas, for those questions. Those were great.
All right. We're reaching way into the bottom of the mailbag with our last question, and I'm glad this is our last question because I am done recording. No, I'm glad this is our last question because it's from our friend Jeff on Instagram, the Disney Parks Teacher. Jeff says, although we haven't had a big screen queer animated couple yet, no Disney couple has said they are only attracted to the opposite sex. With Loki recently being confirmed as bisexual, the world is our oyster. So let's say every Disney character is pansexual. What are your dream queer Disney mashups?
So this question is kind of showing its age a little bit because we did get, I mean, one of them was not a main character, but in Lightyear, we kind of saw, you know, a relationship and it was a lesbian relationship.
Yes, absolutely. So it is starting to happen, but we want more, and this expands that world. So what if there was no sexual identity, or if everyone was pansexual?
What are your dream queer Disney matchups? Oh, this is really good. Ursula and Tinkerbell.
Oh. Okay.
I like the dynamic. I like the size difference there.
I do too. I'm confused by it, but I'm into it a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A pixie and a witch. They seem like they would be like a hot lesbian couple.
That's right. They call them pitches.
Careful.
With a P.
And obviously, I mean, this is so obvious and basic of me, but like Naveen and... Who is Naveen going to get with?
Everybody.
Sorry, Tiana.
Or you're welcome to join.
Yeah.
Ooh, that opens up another question. What about a throuple? What about a Disney throuple?
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Like a Rapunzel and Flynn.
Yeah.
And Maximus? That's the horse.
Why not?
Why ever not?
A fairy tale kingdom? Anything can happen.
Do you know who I want to get together? Would be Elsa and Mirabelle.
Elsa and Mirabelle. Oh, yeah. I can see that.
Assuming Mirabelle's 18 and over.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Let's just claim that she is.
We're assuming that everyone's of appropriate age and is consenting to this.
There we go.
Would we have said that 3 years ago when we started this podcast, or 3.5 years ago?
We wouldn't even be exploring this territory.
You're right.
We were skirt.
The world has changed, and so have we.
We have stopped caring.
Yeah. I think a strong throuple would be like Mrs. Potts. Definitely Mrs. Potts. Daisy. I feel like Daisy would get into a situation with Mrs. Potts. And then coming into the mix as well would be obviously Mad Madam Mim.
Ooh, I'm liking this pink and purple color story.
The color story definitely ties them all together.
And I feel like they're all sort of short and round.
Oh, Daisy's offended by that.
No, I don't think so. I appreciate
her curves and her swerves.
Every size of duck. I'm into it. I don't care what the duck size you are. You know?
Duck and pitches with a P. Pitches with a P. Well, thank you, Jeff, for your fantastic question. Tweedles, please reach out to us and let us know who your dream queer Disney matchups would be.
I love this. What a great question. This is something that could be ongoing as you think of it. Just send us a note, Adam, of who you just, I'm going to get a text from you one day. Darth Vader and Mickey Mouse.
This is great. This is a new iteration of Quick D that you can introduce to the mix. Adam wrote in with his new dream queer Disney matchup.
Oh, I love this. I love this journey for us.
It'll be like a salacious voice memo. It's be me heavy breathing.
Oh, God. Gross.
Yeah, that is gross. That is gross.
Oh, man. Well, thank you, Jeff. And thank you all, Tweedles one and all, for all of those questions. We finally got through all of them, which means you owe us more questions for upcoming episodes.
That's right. There's a whole slew of new co-hosts coming to answer your questions. So if you would like to submit a question for those gentlemen and Patrick, you can do so by reaching out to us on social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast.
And say it with me, everybody. You can also leave us a voice memo or an email at info@gaysdothedeed.com.
Jafar. Jafar's definitely getting down with someone. I mean, really, all the villains, we talked about them being queer-coded. They're all just like getting together.
Yeah, we know what's going on at the villains lair at the top of the world lounge.
That's right. That's right. This is bringing a whole new twist to that experience.
What an interesting theme. Now, I would get DVC for that. Absolutely.
Totally worth DVC.
I want to DVC that going on.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Adam.
We've reached the end of this episode, and that means it's time for Quick D.
I was going to say, and that means you have to get out.
You keep making that joke. I'm starting to think you're serious.
You should have been thinking that for a while now. I don't know. I'm accidentally funny, but I'm always truthful.
That's very funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, before we get to Quick D, let me just say, I realized I didn't say one thing that I would like to say.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say thank you. First of all, to all the Tweedles out there, thank you. And I want to say thank you to you because you've been phenomenal through all of this. And I want everyone out there to know that, and I don't mean this to sound insulting in any way. I don't know why I said that, but the podcast, this isn't the way it always has been, and it changes, but for the most part, the podcast has kind of fallen into the head and the heart. And Patrick has always been the heart behind the podcast, like his passion for Disney, his sincerity. And the reason we got to talking about so many social issues and the change that we need to see in this world is because of Patrick. He felt that we needed to address some of the truly awful and also wonderful things we were seeing out there. So just know that the heart of the podcast is Patrick. And so what's really wonderful is that going forward, that through line will still be there.
Well, gosh, thank you very much, Adam. It's supposed to be quick. You're supposed to be laughing, and I'm crying now. It's funny that you say that, the head and the heart, and I'm struggling to figure out where you fit in that equation.
That's odd because I was about to say the head's gone, folks. There's no more head, and we all know that the body can't survive without a head. I truly did not mean that to sound insulting. I feel like I get so analytical about things, and you were always leading from your heart, and that's what this podcast needs to be.
I mean, if you imagine for one moment that you don't do the same, you are absolutely incorrect. But what I appreciate about what you and I have had is that balance between each other, right? We have maybe even on some episodes, but definitely off episodes, have had some very deep discussions with each other and learned so much from each other and about each other, about how to approach things. And who knew that was ever going to come from a Disney podcast? You know what I mean?
It's been wild. I mean, a majority of this podcast has now been produced during a pandemic and during a real social upheaval that needed to happen.
Yeah, 100% that. And I think that's why here's what I'll say. I am devastated that you're leaving, because the chemistry that we have on the podcast is second to none, I feel like. You and I just have a second vocabulary with each other that nobody else is on, which is so great. Not that we're not going to have that with the other hosts. Right. It's going to be its own magic for sure. Yeah. But I've appreciated that so much. But it's also part of why, what you were saying before, of us having recorded a majority of this in a pandemic and having to deal with some things that we never imagined were going to happen. Right. And it being a Disney podcast, when you said that you were leaving the show, definitely for a hot second, I was like, well, I think that we can call it a day. But then I just remember all of the lovely notes that we get from our Tweedles telling us what it means to them, that I don't think we're done here yet. Yeah. Right? I don't think... And when I say that, I mean all of us, Tweedles, all of you included, all of the new hosts, you included, Adam, anyone who's yet to be on the show, we're not done. Our work isn't done. We just have so much more joy to bring to the world and so many more conversations to bring to the world.
Yes, those conversations need to continue happening, whether it's talking about our passion for Disney or whether it's talking about the change we want to see in this world.
Yeah, and that change is only going to come if we are invested in that change as well. We have to continue talking about things like this. We were always going to be a Disney podcast, but we are now additionally a human podcast, right?
Yeah.
Just an experience that we can all share together.
Yeah, and please apply that going forward to Disney. You know, we saw some things in the past year that we questioned and were addressed and have since been fixed for the moment, but please continue to hold Disney accountable and make sure that they are being the organization that you want them to be.
100% that, and hold us accountable too on the podcast going forward. And you have done it in the past before. Yeah. Correct us if we're saying things incorrectly. Yeah. We are always evolving, as is literally happening right now with the changing of the guards here at Gaze to the D. We welcome change, we embrace it, and let's talk about some Quick D.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of corrections going forward. They're going to need that. So please call them out. And I do mean call them out. There's no calling in.
Take us to task. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Karens, activate.
That's phase 7 of Marvel.
So many spiky wigs. Oh, okay. We're back to laughing again.
What are we doing here?
Good. Okay, Quick D question. Classic. We're taking it back to the OG.
Yeah.
Quick D question is when Patrick and I ask each other a question we have not been privy to prior to recording, and we answer it off the cuff.
Oh, are you going to immediately forget how to say that after we hit stop here?
Those will be my dying words.
I want it on my tombstone.
Yeah. Off the cuff.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. So how are we doing this? Am I asking you first? Are you asking me first? What are we doing?
If you have a question in the barrel, why did I take, no, you know what? We're going to keep recording because why did I take it to a gun place? Because I'm a dumb American. If you have a question at the ready, let's go with that.
All right. We're calling ourselves out already immediately. It's happening. It's happening right here. Live.
That phrase.
I know.
It just popped into my head and I was like, ugh, that's a terrible phrase.
It really is. You're a terrible person. All right, here we go.
Okay.
As you know, Adam, the Festival of the Lion King is plus some monkeys now.
Yes.
It is Monkey Plus, and they've also given us the bird. Adam, the bird is back.
Yes.
I didn't know I was going to say it like that, but it came right out.
I love it. I love it.
So we're all very excited about that, Adam. Yeah. But there is an unexpected addition to the Festival of the Lion King. What else have they given us that we weren't expecting or ready for?
Can I just ask before I answer that? Yeah. Are both birds back, or is it just one bird?
Oh, I think they were always still back, but she's flying now, Adam.
Oh, okay.
She's in the air.
She's back. She's back up in the air.
She is. Put that. Raise that bird high in the air.
I think one of them follows us on Instagram too. I know there's some kind of gymnast that's involved with this show that follows us.
Oh,
or there's a couple, two gentlemen. They're a couple. Yeah. Maybe they're monkeys.
Some of them are they following me as well? Fellas. Slip into my DMs, please.
Okay, so there's an addition to the Festival of the Lion King.
Yes.
A brand new segment. Oh, I'm so used to them only taking things away. It's weird to be adding something. Okay, the addition to the Festival of the Lion King is ants. Jungle ants. The theater is filled with biting, burning ants. They just amass in the theater. They form a mound in the middle of that stage.
Oh.
The stagehands still have to come out to create the ant mound and try to be as unintrusive as possible.
Yeah.
But they create a giant mound of ants from which the ants emerge and immediately start attacking the audience. It's interactive, Patrick. It's fun.
They're taking Bug's Life a little too far now.
They are.
Yeah.
It's a great way to tie it in.
It really is.
Synergy. Really. Yeah, is what it is. But people are going to get hurt. But you know what?
Good.
There is pleasure to that pain.
You gotta have the sugar and the spice.
That's right. And that's what they're teaching them. That's what the Festival of the Lion King is now going to teach people.
How to treat burns.
Sometimes it hurts and sometimes it's fun.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey, Patrick, you know how, in the pre-show, the performers come out, the 4 singers come out, and they have each section of the audience do a different sound?
I do know that.
What do jungle ants sound like, Patrick?
Is this my question?
No,
Because I hate it.
This is a bonus question.
They're like, hey guys, I'm an ant. I don't know. I'm gonna bite you. I'm gonna bite you real good.
Oh, that is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. Oh my God.
That's right, Harvey the fire ant. Hey. He's gonna be. There's 4 hosts now, or 5 hosts now of Gaze to the D.
Yeah. Harvey
the fire ant.
Kale, JT, Ryan, you've got some competition.
Coming up on the news, I'm gonna bite you.
Everyone just imagine Patrick alone in his basement being himself and Harvey the fire ant.
Oh, I've lost my mind.
Sad.
Yet again.
All right, Patrick, here's my real question.
Finally.
For you.
Finally.
In the most Disney way possible, whatever that means to you, I want you to tell me how you're going to kill me off the podcast. I love a cliffhanger, and I'm saying that there's the potential I'll come back Bobby Ewing style and just suddenly reappear.
Yeah.
But how are you going to kill me off the podcast and get rid of me?
Well, it's really I'm glad that you like a cliffhanger because we're going on a hike after this recording, Adam. I'm taking you to a cliff, and you know what happens when there's 2 people on a cliff, only one of them's going home. Oh, and that'll be the photo for our show episode. It's just you hanging from a cliff,
So
with a shoe on your fingers.
not only will there be audio evidence of my murder, there will also be a picture.
That's right. I'm not great at crime, but I will commit it.
I'm not great at crime.
That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast. Submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See ya real soon.
Patrick, potatoes, Kazuki.
I want everyone to know that we didn't snap before we started recording.
We certainly did not. Let's go back and do that again. And I caught you mid-sip of tea, so things are all off once again.
I can't go on. I'm ready now.
All right. Give me a snap in 3, 2, 1.
All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
Gays do Shang-Chi.
They do.
I
Yes,
wish.
indeed. I wish. I do wish. All right. Shut the fuck up. Here we go. Hi, gang. It's Patrick.
And Adam.
I'm going to do that again. I sounded like a gay leprechaun. Hi, gang. Sorry. Pulling into Magic Kingdom for the first time on your trip, regardless of transportation, they have laid it out so well that however you get there, you're experiencing a really magical sight as you pull up.
Totally agree, Patrick. It is... Wait, what was your selection?
That's going into the outtakes. Pulling into Magic Kingdom for the first time. I love it. I love the ABBA app. I love the ABBA action. Patrick. Sorry. I'm hoping Dan is home because someone is tiptoeing. Dan, is that you or am I going to get murdered? Okay.
Why does it have to be either?
Also, am I going to get murdered?
There's so many outtakes already in this episode.
No, cut them all. Okay, where are we? What's happening? Where am I? Can we add that to the bloopers?
Certainly can. Sneak that in. Just get it in.
Hi, gang. It's Patrick.
And Adam.
Coming up on today's episode, we answer your hard-hitting questions with another installment of Questions and Peter Panswers. As always, we discuss the latest Disney news. No, we don't. No, we don't. And we don't close out the show with some quick tea. Hi, gang. It's...
Ooh.
Hi. Hi, gang. We do the 2020. Wow. The 2020. So, did I want more? I did. Was it impressive? Mostly. Not entirely impressive. That is impressive. All right, here we go.
You must feel better after that one.
That came out of my toes. This June 8th, Disney Genie Plus will no longer be available for advanced purchase. Guests will now only be able to purchase Disney? That's your new podcast. Oh, Lord.
How, can I ask, how in almost 200 episodes have we not said Disney before?
I don't know, but now I can't not say it. That's the new name for Genie Plus. What a load of Disney. My God. Oh. That's good. It's amazing. I don't know how we... There's no recovering. Okay. Ooh-wee. All right. All right, pull it together, everybody. Come on. Slap in the face. All right.